Have you ever stopped to think that everything you've been taught about money might be wrong? What if I told you that money isn't just paper or numbers on a screen, but a living spiritual force that directly responds to your state of consciousness? Yes, money is energy, and even more than that, money is spirit. And here's the most astonishing part. Jesus himself taught exactly how to command it. But that teaching has been ignored, hidden behind limiting beliefs that make you chase money when in truth, you were born for money to chase you. Today, we're going to break that cycle. We'll reveal the 3 sacred steps that activate the flow of divine provision in your life. And before we go any further, write this in the comments. I am the abundance that commands the flow. That's your vibrational seal. Your activation begins now. To understand why money can and must be commanded spiritually, we have to look beyond what's visible. And on that path, few minds were as bold as Jacobo Grinberg's, the Mexican neuroscientist who challenged everything traditional science believed possible. Grinberg dedicated his life to studying consciousness and developed the theory of the neuronal field, claiming that reality is not fixed, but rather a projection shaped by our inner state. This means that everything we experience, including our financial situation, is a direct reflection of the vibration we carry. Grinberg, alongside spiritual teachers like Neville Goddard, shed light on a forgotten truth. The universe responds to consciousness, not physical effort. And that same truth was exemplified by Jesus Christ. In every miracle, in every teaching, he demonstrated that matter obeys spirit. When Jesus multiplied the loaves, when he told Peter to find a coin inside a fish's mouth, he wasn't acting out of luck. He commanded with spiritual authority. So when we talk about money, we're not just talking about finances. We're talking about energy, frequency, and the recognition of your divine nature as a co-creator of reality. From an early age, we're taught that money is a thing. Bills, coins, numbers in a bank account. But that reductionist view feeds one of the greatest lies in human history, the idea that money is merely material. In truth, that belief is a veil that hides its real nature. Money is not matter. It's energy in motion, and even more, it's spirit in movement. Just like electricity running through invisible wires, money manifests where vibrational conductivity exists. It's not something earned by effort alone, it's something commanded from within. Every external reality is a projection of the internal one, as Jacobo Grinberg taught. If your mind is programmed for scarcity, the world around you will simply obey. It doesn't matter how hard you work, how much you strive, or how badly you wish. If your consciousness vibrates in lack, money will always slip away, always stay distant, always demand struggle. That's because you don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe to be true about yourself and the world. Science already shows that everything is energy. Quantum physics teaches us that matter isn't solid. It's made of fields of possibilities that collapse into form through observation and intention. That means money, like everything else in physical reality, is an extension of your dominant frequency. If you see money as something separate, dirty, dangerous, or scarce, you're sending signals that contradict what you say you want. That's why so many people pray, affirm, and wish, yet nothing changes. Deep down, they don't believe money is spiritual, and that's the root of the blockage. Money is a reflection. It reflects your consciousness. It responds to the vibration you hold in silence, in your deepest emotions, in the beliefs you don't even realize you carry. It has no will of its own. It follows the command of your energetic field. That means it's not the enemy. On the contrary, it's a faithful messenger of what you believe is possible for your life. When you begin to see money as spirit in action, everything changes. You stop chasing it and start working on your inner alignment. And that's when money starts to appear, not as effort, but as consequence. Because it doesn't come from merit or extreme work. It comes as a vibrational response. Money is a bridge between the invisible and the visible, the concrete manifestation of an inner state. When you understand that, you realize that true prosperity isn't achieved outside of you, it's cultivated within. The highest form of abundance is spiritual. Everything you need already exists. You only have to learn to tune into it. Throughout the Gospels, we see Jesus performing miracles that defied human logic. But what few people notice is that those acts weren't mere displays of power. They were revelations of spiritual laws, codes that govern creation, and when understood, free us from dependence on matter. Jesus didn't just know those laws, he embodied them masterfully. And among those laws was the understanding that spirit governs form and that money is a manifestation subject to spiritual consciousness. One of the most revealing examples happens when the Pharisees try to trap Jesus with the question, should we pay tribute to Caesar? With divine wisdom, he asks them to show him a coin. Observing Caesar's image, he replies, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's. That teaching goes far beyond diplomacy. It reveals a clear distinction between the world of form, the coin, and the world of spirit, the creator. Money belongs to the field of manifestation, but we belong to the field of creation. In other words, the coin bears the image of the empire, but you bear the image of God. So who commands whom? Another powerful moment happens when Jesus instructs Peter to pay the temple tax. Instead of worrying, complaining, or saying they had no money, Jesus gives an instruction that seems absurd to the rational mind. Go to the sea, cast your hook, and the first fish you catch will have a coin in its mouth. And it happened exactly that way. This miracle is more than symbolic. It's a demonstration of alignment between faith, authority, and manifestation. Jesus knew that when consciousness is anchored in certainty, creation responds with precision. Notice, he didn't ask, he didn't beg, he commanded, and after commanding, he rested in the certainty of the result. This isn't superstition, it's spiritual science. Jesus lived in perfect connection with the field of source, where everything already exists. He knew that provision doesn't come from matter, it comes from aligned consciousness. When you vibrate in abundance, material reality, including money, adjusts itself to your inner state. Jesus never chased provision, he revealed it. He didn't submit to the appearance of lack. On the contrary, he looked into the invisible with conviction, and that spiritual gaze was enough for abundance to appear. He showed us that true wealth lies in commanding matter through spirit, and that the natural world bends before the authority of those who know who they are. It wasn't luck. It was law. Many people live with the feeling that they're doing everything right, yet money simply doesn't arrive. They work hard, pray, affirm, plan, and still remain trapped in a cycle of limitation. That's because in the spiritual realm, it's not desire that attracts, it's vibration. The universe doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you are energetically. And that's where most people get lost. They want prosperity, but vibrate scarcity. They ask for abundance, but feel fear. They speak of faith, but live in doubt. You must understand that your current financial reality is an exact reflection of your internal programming. Since childhood, you've been exposed to phrases, experiences, and traumas that shaped how you see money. Things like, money is dirty, you can't have it all, rich people don't go to heaven, only cheaters get rich. Even without realizing it, those ideas rooted themselves in your subconscious, and today they create your reality, not your conscious intentions. To change this, you must reprogram your inner structure. How? By shifting the vibration that supports your identity. This doesn't mean pretending everything's fine while inside you're desperate. It means realizing that you are already supplied by the divine source, that you are a channel of provision, that money is not something you beg for, it's something you manifest because you vibrate as someone who already has. This transformation begins by observing your inner language. What do you tell yourself about money? How do you feel when you look at your bank account? What's your emotional reaction when you think about large sums? These answers reveal the frequency you're broadcasting. And as long as your vibration is tuned to fear, lack, or doubt, the universe will keep sending you experiences that match it. Jacobo Grinberg taught that the mind functions as a field of frequency, and everything you perceive is determined by your internal configuration. That means abundance already exists. You just need to adjust your mental dial to tune into it. Change doesn't start outside. It starts within. So instead of asking, how can I attract more money? The right question is, how can I become a vibration that matches abundance? When you ask that, your focus shifts. You stop looking outward and begin to align your thoughts, emotions, and words with what you want to see. The good news is that this reprogramming is possible. You can undo years of scarcity with practice, awareness, and repetition. Because the vibration you emit today is not permanent. It's just a temporary reflection. And at any moment, you can choose to vibrate differently and create a new reality. Most people believe gratitude is a response to something that's already happened. They say thank you when they receive, when they achieve, when they see concrete proof that things worked out. But in the spiritual world, that logic is reversed. Gratitude isn't the result of the miracle. It's the trigger. It's what opens the portal of manifestation. Jesus demonstrated this perfectly. Instead of waiting for the loaves to multiply before giving thanks, he thanked beforehand. He gave thanks before seeing, because he knew that gratitude expressed with faith generates the desired reality. Gratitude is a frequency, and that frequency tells the universe that you already possess what you're asking for. When you give thanks before the physical evidence appears, you're saying, I trust. And that trust is the vibrational signature of creation. It's not about repeating empty words, but about feeling deeply and truthfully that what you desire is already yours in the invisible field. The ordinary mind gives thanks for what it sees. The spiritual mind gives thanks for what it knows is already real, even when the eyes can't yet see it. That's the leap of consciousness that transforms the invisible into the visible. When you say, thank you for the money that's flowing to me with ease, even before it arrives, you're issuing a spiritual command. You're telling reality, get ready, I'm ready. And the universe responds. Gratitude also dissolves anxiety. When you're grateful, there's no room for desperation. The state of gratitude is inner rest, a deep trust that the source is active, the supply has been released, and the manifestation is on its way. Gratitude is surrender with authority. It's the point where faith becomes certainty. That's why, instead of looking at what's missing, you must train yourself to look at what already exists. And beyond that, at what hasn't yet arrived but is already real in spirit. That's spiritual maturity. Stopping the demand for proof and beginning to emanate presence. When you begin to say with conviction, thank you, because everything I need is coming to me, you create an energetic field so powerful that opportunities, ideas, people, and money begin to align with your path. And more than that, gratitude changes your identity. You stop being someone who needs and become someone who has. And as we've seen, money is a mirror. It reflects who you believe you are. If you believe you are whole, provided for, and abundant, the world around you reorganizes itself to confirm that truth. Gratitude isn't just polite behavior. It's a vibrational code. It's a seal of faith. And when used consciously, it becomes the ultimate portal for the spiritual manifestation of wealth. After aligning yourself with abundance and giving thanks before the manifestation, the final and most powerful step is to command and rest. This is the vibrational posture of those who walk in full awareness of who they are, Jesus didn't ask, beg, or plead. He declared with authority. When he said, "Lazarus, come forth," he didn't wait nervously to see if it would work. He knew, because in the spiritual realm, those who know don't repeat. Those who command, rest. This is where many stumble. They align, affirm, and give thanks. But then they check again to see if it worked. They question, they doubt. And at that moment they break the flow. The universe doesn't respond to anxious insistence. It responds to silent certainty. Resting is not giving up. It's trusting. It's the vibrational peace of someone who's planted the seed and doesn't need to dig up the soil to see if it's growing. Manifestation obeys the timing of spirit, not of ego. When you enter rest, you leave the field of control and step into the field of creation. That's when miracles start moving. Because while you're restless, you interrupt the process. But when you rest in certainty, the invisible works in your favor. This is what the Bible calls entering God's rest, a state where there is no more human effort, only the confidence that what has been decreed in spirit will be fulfilled in matter. That rest is not passivity, it's deep spiritual action. It's expressed through a calm mind, firm decisions, and a stable vibration. The person who reaches this stage doesn't look for signs. They are the sign. They don't need proof, because they are the proof. Money, opportunities, paths, everything begins to respond to that posture because the universe recognizes and obeys vibrational authority. Jacobo Grinberg said that reality responds to the structure of your neuronal field, and that structure stabilizes when you enter conscious rest. It's as if you're saying, the command has been given, now life can fulfill it. And it does. That's why, after aligning yourself with abundance and giving thanks with faith, don't return to fear, doubt, or the need for control. Instead, stand firm in the certainty of spirit, sleep peacefully, walk lightly, and when the first signs begin to appear, and they will, celebrate with reverence, because you didn't just attract money, you revealed who you are. This is the complete cycle of spiritual manifestation. Align, give thanks, command, and then rest. Now that you understand the true nature of money as an extension of spirit, the next step is to apply this knowledge with presence and intention. Remember, you weren't born to be a slave to matter, but to command it with consciousness. What Jesus taught and demonstrated is that abundance is not a reward, but a reflection of your spiritual identity. From today onward, align yourself with that truth. Practice daily the 3 sacred steps. Align with abundance, give thanks before seeing, and command with faith while resting in trust. It's not magic, it's vibration. And your vibration changes the moment you claim your position as a co-creator of reality. Leave a comment below with this declaration: I command with faith and rest with trust. That will be your public statement of alignment. Your energetic activation begins with the word. If this message touched you deeply, share this video with someone who also needs to remember who they are. And of course, subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content that will strengthen your journey of consciousness, spirituality, and prosperity. Abundance is not a destination. It is who you are. Now go and manifest it into the world.